Hi everyone, Vegas Film Critic here, Jeffrey K. Howard, here to review Star Wars A Rogue Story, or Star Wars Rogue One. I mean, I've heard it called different things, but I think officially it's called A Rogue Story. And I just came out of the movie, and sometimes I like to wait the next day or let it sink in a little bit, but there was so much to talk about this movie, being Star Wars, being the holidays, being it's on everybody's mind. Look, here's Darth Vader. Check him out. About to talk about him. This is my original... Say I'm a Star Wars fan, huge Star Wars fan since I was 11 years old. I saw the first movie. I saw it over 100 times in the theater. Empire Strikes Back. I was in high school, actually junior high starting, and then saw Jedi my junior year, and I camped out. My teachers were so cool. They let me, really cool, and let me camp out. I was like fourth in line to see it in Las Vegas. So I was a big Star Wars fan. I don't recognize the last three. I mean, I don't recognize Phantom Menace and all those crappy films that Lucas did. I'm so sorry, George, but I hated him with a passion. So, I really, I know that started the next generation, for those three films. So I don't have a connection to those. So, but when Force Awakens, that really rekindled my youth, and also Rogue Story. We'll talk about that while we're here. And we're going to talk about Darth Vader, but we'll put him down, and this will come later in the review. Now, with Rogue Story, I had to actually pay for it. Yes, if you watch my channel, you know that movie critics don't pay for their movies, okay? And some movies they don't screen for critics, I go out and pay for it. It's like a horror film or something that I want to give a review to my viewers, and also I'm curious to watch it for myself. But I was at the Critics' Choice Awards in Los Angeles, and the screening, it was a Sunday night, and the screening was that next day, Monday at 11. All the critics saw it at the same time. I couldn't get back to I can't even talk. I couldn't get back to Vegas. What the hell? All right, Jeff, calm down. Just calm down. I couldn't get back to Vegas in time, so I went and bought a ticket, and I saw it with the movie going public, which is a really interesting experience because we're talking, it's Star Wars, right? So another friend of mine went with me, and we saw it. Okay, where to begin with this? First of all, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so I had so much expectations for this movie, and I didn't read any article. I didn't see any trailer. People are asking me, did you see the Rogue One trailer? I go, no, I didn't see the trailer. I didn't read about any of the story or any kind of theories going on. I stayed away from all of that. I did hear that Disney had to do reshoots on this, and after seeing this movie, I can see why. Because my overall impression of the movie is that it's seriously dark. I mean, this movie is heavy. Where's the levity in this movie? Where is the family-friendly kind of angle that, now that Disney owns it? And I can see why Disney was upset. So many people die in this movie, specifically the parts of the rebels, obviously, but the stormtroopers. I mean, they're just mowing down. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. First of all, let me set up the story. This is obviously a prequel to the original Star Wars. And look, I am a purist. I don't say Star Wars Episode 3, A New Hope, and 4. No. It's Star Wars, Empire, Jedi. Those three, I forget their names, who cares? And then Force Awakens and now Rogue One, which is a standalone movie, okay? It is a prequel to Star Wars. So if you say Star Wars to me when you say a film, I know you're talking about A New Hope, okay? Episode 4, or whatever the hell you want to call it. But that's wrong. So I hate revisionist bullshit. There, I swore. See, you made me swear. So this is a prequel to Star Wars where, they have to destroy the Death Star in Star Wars. So this is how they get the plans, how the rebels manage to get the plans away from the Empire and get them into Princess Leia's hand, who puts them inside of R2-D2, and the rest is movie history. So Felicity Jones plays a hero, which is Jen Erso, who's more girl power. So which I love. I think having girl power in Star Wars is phenomenal. We had it with Force Awakens, and now we have it with Rogue One. And she is determined to lead the rebels to get the Star Wars, God. She is determined to get the Death Star plans. I hope this interview is okay. She is determined to lead the rebels and get the Death Star plans. And she's accompanied by Diego Luna, who is... Now, I haven't memorized all their names, guys, because, I'm not that much of a fanatic with these newer films. Plays Captain Cassian, who's out to help her accomplish her mission. And there's a lot of familiarity in this movie. So if you know the original Star Wars, which everybody does, there's certain lines and references, there's certain characters that you see that were in the original film, and this is a spoiler-free review. I should have said it at the top. I'm not going to give away stuff. I'll do a spoiler one later. But there's a lot of tributes, you can say, to the movie and the original film. And I thought that was pretty cool. It really was. But, I don't want to rehash things that happened 35 years ago that I've seen 1,000 times over. I want something a little more fresh and the movie didn't do that in terms of the characters. Now, we know the story. Get the Death Star plans. That's just about it. And we have all these other characters, with the exception of Jin, Felicity Jones, that has a backstory. The rest don't have a backstory. I mean, we have Donnie Yen, who plays Chirrut, who's this really kind of a Jedi wannabe Asian master who's really cool, and he's blind. That's what's really cool. He's blind, and he uses a stick like you wouldn't believe. And also, I'm going to get his name right, Jiang Wen, who plays Baze Malbus, who's his cohort, who looks like this giant Samoan, this Pacific Islander guy who's pretty badass. I mean, these guys make a great team. But they have this friendship, but we don't know their backstory. We don't know why we're supposed to care about them. Even though we wanted more of them, but we don't understand their characters. We don't have that connection with those characters. And also, we also have, what's his name? Ben Mendelsohn, who plays Captain Tudyk, who's climbing the Empire ladder, as you might say, trying to ride the coattails, trying to climb his way to the top. And I thought he was a pretty good heavy in the movie. And he's got this flowing white cape, you know, with, Darth Vader has a black one, so he has this white cape. And I think he has some intense scenes, you know. He is trying to squash the rebels, trying to keep the plans from leaving, and he's going to be held responsible when everything goes bad. And then we have Forrest Whitaker, who is just one of the finest actors of our time, plays Saw Gerrera, who helps Jin find her destiny, I guess you could say. There's kind of like a 10 Cloverfield Lane beginning, where she has to, you'll see. I don't want to give any spoilers away. And, he looks like something from Battlefield Earth, but he gives a good performance. He really does. He's not in it much, but what he is, and I think his character comes from one of the animated series. Like I said, I'm not a current Star Wars fanatic. I'm more old school. So if you want to talk about the first 3 films, I know a lot about those. But overall, the movie has a very slow first act. I mean, slow to where I was almost dozing off. I mean, that's how slow it is. It just takes a snail's pace to get going. And there's constant scenes of ships arriving at places with the music blaring. The music just is overpowering the first hour of the movie. And then the third act, we have these incredible battle sequences. The rebels are fighting the Empire on this beachfront property on some planet where they're trying to get the plans for the Death Star. You have the AT-AT walkers, or AT-AT walkers. I say AT-AT, but some people say AT-AT. There's a debate that goes on with that. So the AT-AT walkers are destroying all the rebels on the ground, and then you have all these just intense battle sequences. This is a war movie. It really is. The movie is so heavy and so dark. And like I said, like you saw in Force Awakens, they kill so many people. I mean, I was turning to my friend, I'm like, they are slaughtering stormtroopers. I mean, they must have killed a couple hundred. It looked that high of a death count. And we know our rebels, some of the heroes in our band of heroes, people are going to die and people are going to get injured, and that's all part of war. But just on a massive scale, there is just death and destruction nonstop in this movie. So with death and destruction at every turn in this film, you can see why Disney was concerned, because it's not really family friendly. It really isn't. I mean, if you took little kids to this movie where you're seeing people die, stormtroopers have families too. They're like the James Bond films, those mindless guys in the jumpsuit, like Star Trek. If you have a red shirt on, don't beam down to a planet, is because you're going to die, right? Well, just because you're a stormtrooper outfit, they were just being mowed down. They really were. Sometimes I was like, wow, this is not fun. Now here comes my favorite part of the review. Of course, Darth Vader is in the movie. I think he has maybe 5 minutes of screen time. He has 2 scenes, and James Earl Jones is back, of course, doing Darth Vader's voice, which is just awesome. I don't want to give it away, but one of his scenes is so flippin' badass. I don't understand why Darth Vader was not in this movie more. Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla and also Monsters. And, Godzilla I really hated when I first saw it. But when I watched it on HBO and I watched it on demand, I think I've seen it like 7 or 8 times now. And it really grew on me. I don't know why, but he's got that slow pace that he does. But he really showed Godzilla in this scale, this monstrous size. And now he had Darth Vader. And I think the rumors of the reshoot, I bet they put Darth Vader in. That's what happened. I don't think Darth Vader was in this originally, but you know what? He had Darth Vader. He should have put 30 minutes of Vader in there. He should have put a lot more Darth Vader in it, because Darth Vader was so cool in this movie. I mean, he's one of the greatest villains of all time. And check this out. This is the original Don Post mask from 1977. I got this for that Christmas when I was 12 years old. And I met David Prowse, who was the actor inside the suit for all the films. And look at that. Can you see what he wrote? What did he write? To Jeff, Darth Vader, David Prowse. So this is like, I don't know if you can see that with the light reflecting. So this is like one of my most cherished possessions. Had this thing since I was 12. I mean, we won't count how many years ago that was. All right, so overall, is Rogue One a bad Star Wars film? No, it's not. It just has a lot of problems, but it's got some pluses too. And I think the average Star Wars fan or the fanatic will probably overlook that. It's not one of my favorites. I thought it was too heavy. It was too dark. There was a lot of action, but it was like really realistic. It was like watching, Normandy being invaded. There was all beachfront kind of chaos going on. I wasn't connected to any of the characters except maybe Darth Vader and possibly Jin, but I just didn't care about what was going on. It was so mechanical. I'm like, get the plans and then get it to Princess Leia. Let's start the next Star Wars film. So I don't know. I didn't feel any excitement or wonder with this. There was no... I'm really gravitating more to the Star Trek films, and I love both. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I'm just having more fun with the Star Trek films because it knows how to balance the levity, the action, and the romance. Everything that you want in a sci-fi epic is in the Star Trek films. But, Force Awakens I really did. But I just had a lot of trouble with Rogue One. But it's not a bad film, and it's not a great film, so I'm stuck in the middle. So... I'm mixed on it. I really am. So I'd love to know what you thought of Star Wars: A Rogue Story. Rogue One. What the hell it's called? I should have wrote it down. For more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. Also, check me out on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also, if you like what you see, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, comment below. What did you think of the new Star Wars movie? I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I lost my voice.